to our Mexico trip and comparing two excursions that we have been on. A little bit of backstory. Darren and I have been to Mexico twice now, and we stayed at the Riviera. We stayed at the Grand Cenares in Riviera Maya, which is about an hour south of Cancun. And we've been on 3 excursions total. We went on the Playa by Night, which you go to Playa del Carmen. We did that both times. Definitely would recommend it if you want to get outside of your resort. I should probably mention we book our holiday with TUI, so these are TUI excursions and we book it through them, but you can probably find very similar excursions with your team, or if you're going if you've booked directly with the hotel, go and speak to your concierge and the people in the hotel, and they will be able to sort of find the best way of booking something for you. But I've got 2 excursions that I want to focus on, and that is the Coba Mayan tradition and the Chichen Itza. Both of them are sort of similar but different, and that is why I wanted to sit down and do sort of a comparison video for you. If you've only got the money or the time to do one of these, this video might help you a little bit in deciding which one to do. So I've got a few tips written on my phone, but I apologise if this video is a little all over the place, but let's get started. So I'll start by sort of telling you, if you don't know what the 2 excursions are, you probably have a little bit of an idea if you've stumbled across this video. So you've got Coba, which is Mayan ruins. These excursions are very similar, so they both go to Mayan ruins. Coba obviously goes to the Coba ruins, pretty sure that's what they're called, and obviously Chichen Itza is one of the more famous set of ruins, and is one of the 7 wonders of the world, and it's again a little bit more famous. We did the Coba one first, and then on our recent one we decided to do the Chichen Itza, and so that's why I wanted to do this video for you. So like I said, they both start off with going to ruins. You go to a cenote at both of them. A cenote is basically where a sinkhole has really happened, and water is basically in it. It looks a bit like a cave. Some of them have roofs, some of them don't. The one on the Coba trip, you go into an open cenote, and the one at Chichen Itza you end up going to a closed cenote. I'll try and insert clips and pictures as we go along, just so you can get sort of visuals of them if you've not seen much about them. And also I'll link my vlogs down below where we go to them, so you can see that. And they also, you get lunch included with both of them, and you also go to some sort of Mayan village. So let's firstly start off with times, because especially if you're in the resort we stayed at, or any of sort of the ones nearby, but it's a lot closer. It's about, at max, 45 minutes, an hour drive, I reckon. Whereas Chichen Itza is about a 2.5 hour drive. You have to get up around, I can't quite remember, but Darren said it was like 7ish to go to Coba, because obviously it's closer. But you end up having to get up and get ready at 10 to 5 in the morning to go to Chichen Itza, because it is that bit further away. They want to be one of the first ones there before the heat, and it's definitely worth being there early, but again, it's just a bit, it puts you off a little bit, that early start time. So with both of them, you get up, they do give you some sort of breakfast. Both times it's been sort of pastries and like a juice. I would definitely recommend the day before in the breakfast buffet taking a couple of pastries or bananas, grabbing a couple of snacks if you can for the day, because you literally get given 1 or 2 pastries, and that is supposed to last you till like 1 o'clock where they give you lunch. So definitely recommend bring some extra food supplies. They give you plenty of water. They have like an ice box, both of them, so you get lots of drinks, but food is definitely something I'd recommend taking. For Coba, you do have to do quite a bit of walking to get to the ruins. I would say we probably walked about half an hour, 45 minutes to get to the main temple, as it were. They do have little cycle bikes, like taxis, where people will on bikes drive you to the ruins. So if you can't walk or you don't want to walk that far, it's not an issue. On the way back, we ended up getting it on the way back because that's what everyone did. But you can get it there and back. And so yeah, if you don't want to do the exercise, if you can't do the exercise, there is a mode of transport to get you there. And so the walking aspect may not put you off because you don't have to do the walking and they've got those facilities. Whereas at Chichen Itza, there is probably, you walk for 5 minutes and you're there in a big open area. You have the ruins. It's mainly out in the open, there's not too much shade. Whereas at Koba, it's mostly in the jungle, so you're walking under the treetops for a lot of the time, so it's a lot more shaded. But again, there's that walking aspect to it. As of filming this, which is obviously 2018, we went to Koba in 2016 and we could climb up the temple, which is something you can't do at Chichen Itza anymore because someone fell and died. It is obviously at your own risk that you climb up Koba. Me and Darren did it. It is quite the exercise. It's very steep, very slippery slopes. Mexico does not have anything to do with health and safety, so you literally have a rope that you can hang on to go your way up. On the way back down, you're like sat on your bottom. If you can do it, the view from the top is spectacular and well worth doing it. It is exercise and it is a little dangerous, but loads of people do it, and it's better if you can do it sooner than later, because obviously in the next, I mean, they've been saying it for years that they're going to close you being able to walk up it, obviously because it just gets too dangerous and it wears away the stones, but as of now you can still walk up it, but for how long I don't know. So that's just an added extra thing you can do if you go to Koba, and would totally recommend it. Also, again, because Chichen Itza is so far away, they do stop off before you get there for like a toilet break. You can get a coffee, there is a little shop, you can have a cigarette, but yeah, you can get a little bit of food. But it's just something else, a bit more information that I want to tell you, because they don't really tell you that sort of thing like from the tour guides. So they do a stop probably around 7 o'clock, I want to say. Both Koba and Chichen Itza have somewhat camera restrictions. When we went to Koba, he basically said if you've got a camera, put it away until you get there. But obviously if you've got a selfie stick, you can take these things in. GoPro selfie sticks, you can take them in as long as you pay a fee, which I think is about 40 pesos, which is like a couple of pounds. It's not a lot. If you want peace of mind, you can purchase that sort of pass. Both times we've not done it, not had an issue. We just took obviously the camera I'm vlogging on now, and it's been fine. But again, if you've got a selfie stick or a tripod, or something slightly more professional looking, then they may be a bit more wary. But as far as actually when you're out walking around there aren't, from what I saw, there weren't any sort of security or anything checking you. So as long as when you pass through the ticket area it's not on show, I think you're good to go. But if you want that peace of mind, if you're a worrier like I can be, then it is worth buying it. But once you're in there, you can take all the pictures and film you like. It isn't restricted, which is pretty cool. So on the way, on the path leading up to Chichen Itza, there are tons and tons of market stalls. Every day, he was saying, people come and set up their market stalls. It's the same sort of things you see in your resort and in Playa del Carmen, all the same sort of touristy items, but they're all trying to get your attention. There can be a few other different things, but it can get a bit repetitive. But if you're looking for a souvenir whilst you're there, then you can get them there. At Chichen, at Koba, I can't really remember seeing anything like that. There were maybe a few right around the entrance, but because you're mostly walking in the forest, there wasn't anything particularly like that. When you're at Koba, there are little refreshments when you're inside. There are toilets when you're inside. Obviously, when you're at Koba, you're walking 45 minutes into the jungle, so there's nothing really sort of once you get there. You sort of have to wait until you come back. So just that's something to bear in mind. But like a 2-5 minute walk in Chichen Itza and you'll buy like a little cafe and some toilets. So I think that's all I've got to say about the actual Mayan ruins. Also Koba is a lot bigger as far as the actual ruins go, even though Chichen Itza is more popular. They both have other temples and different things around them as well, which we'll go through with you, but obviously the main thing is the temple. So I will move on from that and next talk about the next thing you go to, which is a little Mayan village. So both of them you visit a Mayan village. At Koba you actually go to a family's house. You get to walk through their house, see how they live. They've got all their chickens and their dogs running around. You see them making these little tortillas, which they hand make there for you, and you get one to eat. And yeah, you get to see how they live, how they eat, how they sleep. It's really, really authentic, and you see them making, like, weaving hammocks, and the tour guide we had on Koba was really, really informative, just superb, and would definitely recommend like the whole Koba Mayan traditions group if you're going on it. So that's on Koba. With Chichen Itza you go to a little local town and you get to walk around it a little bit. You they set up a couple stalls, the women that live there, and they sell things like honey and spices, bracelets and hammocks, dream catchers, things that they've made that obviously they encourage you to buy. They're not expensive, and if you want to get something really authentic, really local, that is the place to get it, and they're obviously so humbled to get it from you. We ended up getting some honey. We don't even eat honey, but we felt compelled to buy something from them because they have so little, and it was a really humbling experience actually. So that's what happens on Chichen. Slightly different, but in both of them you end up going to a Mayan village. In both of them you get fed, which is great. At Koba the site of the restaurant, I believe if I can remember correctly, the restaurant was pretty much on the outskirts of the ruins, which was great because we were really hungry after the walk, and you had a buffet and it was all included unless you wanted, I believe unless you wanted like a beer, but you could get a fizzy drink for free. They had a great buffet. The food was impeccable. It was amazing. One of the best meals we had on the holiday. Whereas at where you eat for Chichen, which is located next to the cenote, you get one set meal. There is no swaying on that unless you're vegetarian, which they have a vegetarian option. Both meals were nice. Just from reference, it was like a beans and chicken and rice for the Chichen Itza one, and then some tortillas and chips and dip. And you did have to pay if you wanted a fizzy drink, but they give you lime water, which was actually really nice and refreshing. So both meals were great. We did probably prefer Koba because you got that slightly more variety, especially if you can be a slightly picky eater, or just sometimes that what they serve is just not your taste, so it's not even about being picky. You know what I mean, there's more variety and more of a selection. So with Koba you go to an open cenote. I'll insert little clips of what they look like, but it's basically where the land has almost fallen in on itself, and like a sinkhole almost, and either the roof will stay intact or it won't. So an open one, which we went to at Koba, had no roof. It was like an open pool. The water was so blue, it was pretty amazing. You have a Mayan like priest who will bless you before you get in there, so that's really cool to watch. And then you get into the very cold cenote. It's just a really cool experience. There's a little fish in there. The water is super clear and it's supposed to be really good for you. It has lots of minerals. You do have to walk probably 5 minutes to get there, but it's all sort of flattish land, so it's not too bad. And there's only sort of a couple steps I'd say to get to the cenote to get into the cenote. So if you can manage a few steps and get into a cenote, you're okay. Whereas at Chichen Itza and that excursion, it is a closed cenote, so it's much further underground. There is a ton of steps down to get to it. It is beautiful. My camera died, so I didn't get too much footage, but what I will insert is what I got. And it is beautiful. Again, it's really cold, but there are a ton of steps, and again, the Mexicans don't have health and safety, so it was really dark to get down to it. And as cool as it was, if you have trouble with stairs, then you may not be able to even see it. At least with Coba, it's quite open, so if you can at least walk to there, you can see it. Both of them you don't have to get in. There's no obligation to get in either of them. But it's a cool experience if you can and if you want to. And finally, on Coba, they actually, at the end of it, they take you to a little Mayan shop that they're sort of affiliated with, where you can purchase, again, more souvenirs, lots of tequila. They give you little tequila shots. One thing that's really cool is you can get a customized pendant of obsidian. I've talked about this before in my videos. I'll insert a little clip of what my necklace looked like, but basically you can fill in different letters. You can get 3 or 4 or 6 letters. It's pretty reasonably priced, and you get a beautiful necklace. You just get the pendant, you don't get the chain, which has letters in Mayan script. So I've got mine and Darren's initials. He also got one as well. And that was something really cool. But again, they do all sort of like hammocks and all the ceramics and different little novelty items, food, drink, that sort of thing. So that's a little extra thing that you get to do at Coba. For Chichen Itza, the sort of little gift that sets it apart is you can get this like piece of scroll or like paper where you can get, I believe, either names or dates or letters on. But it's in Mayan, and that is something that they have at Chichen Itza. So even if you don't go on this tour, you can get it done there. It's right in the sort of lobby area as you first walk in. So it's not exclusive to the TUI excursion, but it's sort of a cool little thing you can get. We didn't get it. We didn't think it was our taste, and we've got a lot of Mexican artwork, but a lot of people on our bus did go for that option. So I'm just going through my notes, seeing if there's anything else I want to talk about. Overall, I would probably recommend Coba. If you can do the walking, it is, I think, overall a bit of a better experience. You can walk up it, sort of depending on what year you go. You get to go to that little shop at the end. Our tour guide was super helpful and informational. The food was great. It's not as far away, and you don't have to get up as early. I'd say it can be worth doing both if you want to. If you're going back for like a second year, like we've done, it is interesting to do both. The paths are quite similar as far as what they talk about, but you know, it's interesting to see the different ruins, and obviously Chichen Itza is one of the wonders of the world, so that was sort of a cool thing to tick off. But yeah, overall, I would say on behalf of Darren and me, we would definitely choose Coba, just because it feels like there's more to do, probably, and you don't have to get up as early, and the food's great. So yeah, if you've been on either of these excursions, leave your comments down below what you thought of either of them. These are obviously just what we found and what our opinions are, and obviously accurate, or somewhat accurate, from what I can remember from 2016 and 2018, so this is obviously subject to change in years to come, and subject to change what tour guides and all that sort of thing, but this has just been our experience and what we thought of it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and maybe it helped you a little bit decide which excursion to take. If you've got any questions, leave them down below. I'll also try and find the prices for the excursions and leave them in the description bar, in case that's a factor for you, because off the top of my head I can't remember what either of them were in comparison to each other. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for my other Mexican related videos. I'll link them all down below, and I'll see you soon. Bye guys.